This weekend is one of the coolest days in Sacramento sports history.
Oh.
Chris Webber, Rick Adelman, Yolanda Griffith going into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Is it up there?
Absolute truth. Okay. Absolute truth. You know why, you guys? And there's going to be a lot of people here that go, you stick to the past. Yeah, because it validates what that past really was. And not only what it was to the city in Sacramento, but what it was to the basketball world, right? I mean, you look at someone like Yo and the WNBA and her story, and then you look at someone like Chris Webber from his college days to his transition into Sacramento and, you know, what he was able to do there. And then Rick Adelman, who we always call underrated in some ways, and some people have their other arguments like, you know, he wasn't that great, but I think just because he wasn't this warm personality, some people don't feel that same way about Rick Adelman. But look at the way that he coached. Look at the systems that he threw out there. Look at, you know, what he accomplished. Sure, not a championship, but.
Yeah, I mean, starting with that, I'm going to say truth on that as well, because it highlights what that Sacramento basketball scene was like in that early 2000s, starting when, you know, Adelman gets hired in 98. You know, Webber comes over that year in the trade, doesn't necessarily want to come over to Sacramento. And what that turned into, one of the best teams ever not to win a championship.
Yeah.
And they were entertaining. They really changed. The NBA was going through such a weird time because it was Jordan retired and then they had a lockout. So the league's going, holy shit, like, we don't have MJ. This was our ratings guy. We're kind of boring. There's a lot of like 62-60 Miami Heat Knicks games going on.
Yeah.
We need some excitement. And at that time, all of a sudden you get Vince Carter in the league. You had a young Kobe Bryant. But then, like, legitimately, you had Jason Williams and C. Webb. And, you know, Jay Will brought a flair. I know this is about Webber, but brought a flair to the game. And Webber, with his skills,
enhanced it.
And then they turned into a winning team. It was that cute, like, this is a fun team to watch. Similar like the Hornets last year where, God, the Charlotte Hornets with LaMelo, they were fun to watch. The announcers are into it. It's awesome. But then they got good. Then all of a sudden it was like, oh, wait. This team is more than just a cute first round and out team that's fun the regular season. They morphed into a legit title contender. And Webber's career, I know it's been debated whether or not he should be a Hall of Famer. I think, especially in the Basketball Hall of Fame, you know, it's what he did for the college game, what he did for basketball off the court, you know, setting trends, all that stuff. But then what he did in the NBA was pretty special. It was still special, although it could have been better had he not gotten hurt.
They still look, there's people in this league, writers, reporters, coaches that look back on that squad and look at what they did for the game today. Whether it was Jason Williams and his flashiness that he added, or Chris Webber being this bigger guy, being able to have the vision and ability to pass the way that he did. Look how it, in some ways, reinvented to where we are today with positionless basketball, which some people want to call it sometimes. But it was part of that transition, and it's so cool that it happened here in Sacramento. And that's why when people get like, seriously, always go, why do you hang on to that? Because truly what it did for the game is historic. It's iconic. It's amazing what those people did. And now that they're getting rewarded for all that they did for basketball is so great to see.
This is when I reference a conversation I had with Steve Kerr for like the 8th time in the podcast. So I was talking to Steve Kerr one time a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I was asking him about those teams. And he was just talking about how influential Rick Adelman is in terms of what the Warriors were doing at the time. Because Adelman's offenses did things differently. You know, it was such a fun style of basketball that players wanted to be in that, right? It highlighted their strengths. They had freedom, but it was free-flowing and fun.
Because basketball is fun.
Right, and you don't look at Adelman and think, fun, okay? He's super serious. I mean, like we've talked to people before, they're like, yeah, like the one thing about Rick is even when, you know, the game seems out of hand, he was still like stressing about the game. Like he is so underrated. He coached the Blazers and the Blazers team that went up against MJ and the Bulls.
Yeah.
But a great Blazers team with Clyde Then the Kings team goes up against Shaq and Kobe. He didn't get it done, but at least he's getting acknowledged. And Yolanda, we had Yolanda on the podcast a couple of months ago. I mean, winning an MVP, Rookie of the Year.
One of the greatest basketball
Win
players
a championship.
Of all time. Yeah.
Great story.
Love it. Love it. So, yeah, no, it's a huge weekend for Sacramento, whether you're watching it, whether you're just enjoying the fact that these guys are making it into the Hall of Fame. No matter what it is, it's big for Sacramento, and it validates a lot of what they did.